Bryanna Sompayrac is joining us here, our sports broadcaster from the great desert of Arizona. I got to tell you, Bryanna, I am really curious of what this game is going to look like here tonight. I feel like the Giants are catching the Eagles off guard for a few reasons, because no Jalen Carter tonight. The offensive line looks pretty banged up, and right now the offensive unit is just not in sync, and that's kind of a problem for someone like Jalen Hurts. And I feel like for the Giants tonight, this is an opportunity where I might see a front seven that could be coming out just like they did against the Chargers. Instill pressures, stop the run, and get the sacks. And I think this is an opportunity where a former Arizona State alumni, Cam Scatabo, is going to be coming up, and he's going to be rushing, getting physical. What should we think about this game here tonight? Some previews here.
Yeah, I mean, it's on my TV in front of me, and I'm like, I picked the Eagles, but after watching the Giants and I just saw Jaxson Dart run that into the end zone, I'm like, yikes, he is the real deal. I'm thinking Jaxson Dart, I think it was a great choice to have him be a starter. I think now that I'm watching the game, I'm like, man, should I have picked the Eagles? Because they, like you said, they don't have Jalen Carter. It seems like it's a very unfair almost matchup right now because the Giants are taking control early in the game.
So I'm actually really happy you told me that Jaxson Dart ran in for a touchdown, because I told people off the air, Jaxson Dart will have an anytime TD tonight. I had a feeling of it, and just after hearing that just makes me so happy for our partners.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So, listen, I know my big thing is like Arizona. I mean, I was born and raised in Vegas, so I understand, desert sports, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
My big thing is with the Cardinals. I had some very good hopes when it came to the defense.
Me too.
And I got to be honest with you, Bryanna, I don't know what it is. It seems like the team at first, they want to get on the same page. Mm-hmm. But then Kyler is just completely out of sync. And then I'm watching DeMercado literally put the football out of his hands, and Jonathan Gannon with his, viral video. Mm-hmm. Something has got to give in this organization, because look, I get it, the Bidwells, all this stuff, but it's like the Cardinals, when have they ever had an uplift? And it's been a long time since the Kurt Warner years and Carson Palmer. But I'm going to start with this. Kyler Murray, I think he's very talented, very athletic. But my problem is, does he even love football? Is he even that focused? Because to me, I don't want him to go and on paper and say he's the utmost talented athlete, but I'm not getting much out of him. I'm not getting any motivation. Mm-hmm. Where do you think you kind of see the problem here in Arizona?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I was so excited in 2019, or was it 18? 7 years. So yeah, one of those years. I can't do my math right now, but it's the 7th season. And when he first started, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, because I remember he did good. Yes. And ever since then, it's been like a downhill slope. And honestly, as an Arizona fan, I'm like, this is so exhausting, because I feel like all of our Arizona sports are like not good. Like our Diamondbacks, of course, they had a good year, but then they just lost it. Last year they did good, like really good, lost it again. And so with the Suns in 2021, that was like the dream team. And then they lost that. Cardinals, again, we got all this great players, especially with our offensive line, which Kyler needs, so he's not scrambling. And then, of course, downhill, and it's like, oh my gosh, are they going to come back? I don't know. I think giving Kyler Murray 7 years without any signs of playoffs is way too long. I think he needs to figure something out and just leave. Maybe a different team, maybe a different organization's better for him. But for the Cardinals, he is not the one for us. And I cannot wait for the 2026 draft to get a quarterback. Hopefully, fingers are crossed.
Maybe you might be lucky enough when you get into the, the polls of like a Dante Moore or even a Garrett Nussmeier, or maybe even, I mean, I don't know. I don't see it really with Lenore Sellers. I feel like you kind of experimented this already, and it's like, well, it's not that he's not athletic. It's just I don't think as far as stretching the field may be the answer from here. So my big thing is with Jonathan Gannon is when he took on this job is that, I mean, I've seen the team when they had Steve Wilkes, they had all these other coaches before Gannon got there. Mm-hmm. I felt like I can see Gannon's identity up and in defense only some of those times. Some of those games where I know that like they'll play well. But after just seeing everything, I've even heard some hearings that players, and I'm a big advocate. I'm not saying I'm an optometrist, but I'm a big advocate of watching body language. When I watch players have just an uplift and then they're just completely out of it.
Right.
I feel like there is something to the core. I don't know what it is. If you could pinpoint it for me, Bryanna, I want to see this team do so good, but it's like the identity, the chemistry in the locker room, and then even up and out of the field. Something is just not right. Is that like more of a coaching aspect, or what do you see?
I mean, I feel like they don't really have a leader. I feel like, Marvin Harrison Jr., he obviously is in his second year, but I think he's a real talent that we really need to use. And with Kyler, I don't think he's going to shine the way he's supposed to, because I really do not believe that team has like a leader that everyone looks up to, because Kyler, first of all, a great player. He's very athletic. He's a great runner, but like you said, the energy on that team, something is off with Kyler. So I feel like he's not very in it. So that makes everyone be like, well, our quarterback's not in it. Why should we be? And then same for the coach. I feel like he should definitely be hyping them up after every play, no matter what it is. Like, come on, guys, we got this. But I don't really see much of that either. So I think in general, that whole team needs a leader. So they need like a veteran in there.
So as a division talk, because I'll be honest, I have been hyping up the NFC West in the last 5 weeks. And I said, this division has been giving me such good football in 5 weeks. I mean, watching the Cardinals, Seahawks. I just watched the Thursday night football game at B-Dubs with the Rams and Niners, where the Niners are so injury decimated. But yeah, Robert Saleh is just that good. How did you kind of evaluate this with the division? Because they are playing like they're right now kind of stealing the thunder of the AFC North. And it feels like the NFC West is just playing that damn good of competitive football.
Yeah, I think both the NFC West and the NFC East, I think both of them are dominating the whole NFL right now. I think the NFC in general is doing way better and more competitive than the AFC, because the AFC, I feel like not as many teams are as good in the AFC. I'm not going to lie. So I think the 49ers are definitely in the playoffs, maybe even I will say the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think, one thing that I will say is that the Rams, they kind of, to me, it feels like they're playing like the Dodgers. They're playing a lot like a team that has to put points up because it feels like they have a bad time of closing games out. And I don't know what it is. I mean, I know the corners have been an issue. They need to go and get a corner. Either because I know the Rams could be a sneaky team in the draft as well, where, this is a very good prime draft to get some corners, get some help up on defense, something like that. So I think it's interesting. When I started seeing these trades recently, I mean, the Chargers get a pass rush. The Baltimore Ravens are just their defense. They need something.
Yeah, they need help.
This is not like Baltimore to have a bad defense. But I'm looking at a team in particular that I feel like could be scary next year, and that is the Cleveland Browns. They went and traded away Joe Flacco to get a late round pick, and then they end up going and trading 2 corners. Like, you got Tyson Campbell now, and you got another late round pick. I feel like what fans don't realize is that when teams do this, they're not doing this just because.
Right.
I feel like they're loading up this capital because there's either going to be some sort of trade involved, or there's probably going to be some late rounders in this draft that I feel like are going to be hitting gems that are going to be really, really nice to watch. And I knew Greg Newsome, once he was gone, I called it. I'm like, he's going to go to a team that's going to give him a contract at some point. But I feel that if they get the quarterback right, offensive line, defensive units, and I feel like the Cleveland Browns is going to be scaring a lot of teams in the AFC North, including the Steelers. And the Bengals are just a mess. But even for the Ravens, like, what did you think of this with Cleveland? Because to me, I'm like, this team's going to scare the hell out of me next year.
Yeah, I mean, they have 2 great quarterbacks right now, Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, but we haven't seen him play necessarily yet. But, I mean, they have time to play him still because they always rotate through their quarterbacks. But I completely agree. I think next season it's definitely going to be a team to look out for because they are going to do good. And the Ravens, I don't know if they're going to do good next year. Maybe they'll get their stuff together, and maybe they'll even scare the Ravens. But it's only time will tell with the Ravens, I guess, because they definitely need some help over there.
Yeah. My final thing is, I mean, in your division, I mean, I'm watching the Seahawks be physical.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the Rams be that talented.
Mm-hmm.
But what people didn't realize about San Francisco is, I even said, and I called it on the record, Brock Purdy to me, and most people don't like me when I say this, I said he is another Jimmy Garoppolo with wheels. He's just somebody that will accurately throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He can move out the pocket much better than Jimmy Garoppolo. But then I'm watching Mac Jones, and I'm watching the same similar scheme that is accompanied by Kyle Shanahan. And the defense, without Nick Bosa and without a lot of defensive units,
Mm-hmm.
people don't realize how important Robert Saleh really is. And I went on record and I said there was somebody I talked to off the air that said, give this another 2 years. The rise of defensive coaches, and these are not just defensive-minded coaches. These could be culture setters. I'm watching Mike McDonald be a culture setter there in Seattle. I may potentially watch Jesse Minter when he gets an opportunity. He'll be a culture coach because of Jim Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Brian Flores and Robert Saleh is going to get a second chance because I felt like the Jets were just such a dumpster fire. They did not know exactly how to handle personnel, but you could tell the difference of their defenses when he was there and when he got fired. They were completely different. They didn't play the same. So I feel like Saleh is an important piece as far as just as a gorilla glue to this team, that fifth stringers, sixth stringers, these guys are playing A- ball. And they're playing against a Rams team that just shocked them immediately. Like, is it about that time to really like give a second chance to someone like Saleh?
Yeah, I really do think it is. I think it needs to switch it around and try something new for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think with Saleh, I've seen it with the Jets before the whole Aaron Rodgers thing.
Yeah.
Like, it looked like a college sideline there.
Yeah.
Like, the players were invested. And Sauce Gardner's playing out of his mind. So I really hope for that. But yeah, I just think that this has been an interesting season. But yeah, I think this weekend, are there some games you're looking forward to this weekend? You might say, this game right here, Jake, pay attention to this. I have a really good feeling. Is there any that catch your attention this weekend? Because I think this is the most fan-friendly week we have.
Yeah, I know. It definitely is crazy. Well, not just because I'm a Lions fan, but it's because the Chiefs and the Lions. The Chiefs, I mean, they do good when they want to. And so, like, maybe they're going to do good against the Lions. And I hate to say it, but you never know. I think that's definitely a game to look out for. But I still think the Lions are going to take that because I think they're going to the Super Bowl and they're number one in the league right now. So I think they're winning that game.
I think so too. I got my money set up on the Lions. So
good.
Yeah. I just think, again, the Chiefs, my top 10 is going to be really interesting because there have been a lot of shakeups. So that's going to be later in the program. But I do feel like the Lions, it's interesting with the change of coordinators, but they have kickstarted up and into fifth gear. It's insane how they've been doing it. And I just don't think the Chiefs right now, like, they're trying to heat up, but it's not that easy. Now you got to play Detroit and you got to play a couple of other teams. So that's going to be an interesting game for sure. But my money is set with Detroit. But Bryanna, appreciate you for coming on by up and onto the program. I know you've been around a lot in the sports industry, and I've been very close with people, especially with Arizona, between Alex Clancy, Ben Garcia, multiple people up and around the desert. Where can people really find your stuff to tap in? Because it's very, very impressive.
Yeah, so I mainly post my Instagram and my TikTok, and my username is Bryanna.sport, and that's on all my platforms like YouTube as well.
There you go. All righty, folks. Definitely check out all of her hard work. It's amazing and it's great, and always wishing the best of successes as well in this industry. Appreciate you, Bryanna, for coming on by. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Absolutely. There you go, Chase. We've been on